In this video, I am going to talk about the difference between the wisdom and the knowledge. For several years, I had been confused regarding this concept, but with the successive experience and consistent thinking, I came to some level of understanding. If we think the knowledge is in terms of the set of informations which are available through various sources which are acquired by us at any point of the time, either through reading, listening to others, or watching television. But wisdom is somehow related to sense. When we acquire knowledge, we try to get into the sense, but it is at very superficial level. But when we take the sense into the deeper root, we realize that the meaning of the exact meaning of the wisdom gets explored in this situation. For example, suppose if we take from the human beings, in today's time, we think, suppose wherever the Newton was born, Einstein was born, when many scholars of the past, like Karl Marx and other people, had born there. If we see the lives of these people, they have the less information in comparison of the today's time. We have plenty of information in today's time. A child who is studied till class 12, I feel that the kind of the reading the child makes it during the 14, 15 years of the time, he has more knowledge than the people who would have been born in 16th or 17th century as far as the organized informations are concerned. And if we take this kind of principle, the knowledge is the basis, and knowledge guarantees you will be more knowledgeable than the people who had been in the past and had been highly successful. A lot of people who are not educated now, but they are very wise. They pick up things very quickly. They understand it deeply, and sometimes they talk some sense by exploring through a very limited resources. So the whole debate of being wise is not about acquiring knowledge. We have always created a confusion. Anybody who has more knowledge, either holding a number of degrees, number of things, we always consider them a person who is full of wisdom. Yes, knowledge is important because sometimes the knowledge is equally important to explore wisdom, and when the wisdom needs some kind of food, then the knowledge will be there where just you can think about that. But at many occasions, we are in the consistent race to acquire knowledge, to acquire degree. Sometimes in the pace of acquiring knowledge, we have the least time to explore sense, to explore deeper sense into it. Sometimes in the process of reading, sometimes uh, something occurs in the sense naturally, but we have the least time to get into the deeper concepts and the deeper exploration of the sense there. If we take this premise fully, we can understand when at the time when the Newton or the other scholars who had been born there, what did they do? Why they had been different than the today's people? Those who had acquired knowledge but had not achieved such a greater sense, such a greater success. Because at the time information was less, but these people had relied more on deepening of the senses about the things they have seen around. So they have not acquired more knowledge than the people of the today's time, but they had been capable to explore their senses in a much wiser, much deeper way than the today's people. And in the race of acquiring knowledge, sometimes forget it. Exploring senses and then becoming wise is more important than acquiring voluminous knowledge, but sense is not explored there. So the bigger difference between the wisdom and the knowledge is the sense exploration. Wisdom is one thing where the sense is deeply explored. Senses are deeply tried, and things are correlated properly by whatever you try to understand, either through a reading or an observation, or whatever the means of communications which we establish. But if we think from the perspective of the knowledge alone is going to make us knowledgeable, and we have to always portray we are knowledgeable, we are wise through a knowledge. That can be done through the externalized process of holding various degrees, various other things there, and then because you can create a perception, but that deeper sense of satisfaction people will never achieve. This is a wider difference between the knowledge and wisdom. So at any point also the question arises: those people who are staying in the villages, they have never gone to school or the colleges. Are they wise, or are they full of the wisdom? So we will just talk about this in the next video.